Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurte Namaha. Our topic this morning is work as worship. How to make our work itself the worship of the Lord, so that our life becomes life of worship. Vedanta does not see these compartments of a worldly life and a spiritual life. That spiritual life is something different from the worldly life. That what we do day to day, in the process of performing our duties, also making our, earnings, supporting ourselves, all those activities, none of them has to be divided into a spiritual activity and a worldly activity. We don't have to. Usually that is done. That what you do in the place of work or business, or sometimes what we do in our day-to-day life and home is all called worldly activity. And when we perform some puja, some chanting, that we'll call this religious, spiritual activity. An activity by itself does not have to be classified as worldly or spiritual, because what we call a religious activity or spiritual activity also is an activity, really. And therefore Vedanta looks upon this as activity, as work. We do not have to compartmentalize our life as worldly life and spiritual life. That is what we often talk, Swartha and Paramartha. Swartha, what is done to fulfill our interest. Paramartha, what is done to fulfill the interest of Ishvara. So Swartha, Paramartha, worldly life, spiritual life, religious life, The life does not need to be compartmentalized in this manner. What makes a given thing worldly and what makes a given thing spiritual, religious, is not the activity as such. It is the spirit behind the activity. Even what we call a spiritual activity, such as singing bhajans, can also become a profession. And that also can become a means of earning my livelihood. And when that is looked at in that manner, it involves all those worldly problems of jealousies, desires. Somebody got that contract, I did not get it. Somebody got that assignment, I did not get it. When something is looked upon as a source of earning, then whatever that activity is can be called only a worldly activity, if you want to call. And therefore, I may be a great singer of bhajans, I may be a great giver of discourses, religious discourses, spiritual discourses. I may give discourses in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and whatever it is. All of that can also be classified as worldly activity if the purpose behind those things is a worldly purpose, is to satisfy or gratify myself, so it is self-gratification. If that is the purpose of an activity, that activity may be called a worldly activity. And therefore, giving a spiritual discourse also could fall into that category. So it is not so much the activity or action that decides the classification, it is the intention, the attitude that we have behind an action that decides what the classification is. And that decides what the outcome will be. Now, what outcome do we want in our life? Life is usually looked upon as the means of satisfying our desires, satisfying our needs, of gaining the artha and kama as comfort and pleasure, as wealth and name and fame and power. Whatever is done to acquire those things becomes a worldly activity. There is nothing wrong in having name, fame, power or wealth, nothing wrong in them. They are also required to live our life. They also empower us to do what we need to do. And in the words of our Puja Swamiji, try to transform yourself from being consumer to a contributor. So are you reading something there? No. No. Okay. Now, are you listening to the talk or you are reading something? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. And so these so-called worldly things empower us. And so wealth, fame, power, all of these are in order. Like anything else, they can be an empowerment They can be an asset, or they can also be a liability. That's how everything is in the world, like a two-edged sword. And therefore, even to become a contributor, you require these resources. Therefore, there is nothing that can be divided as spiritual and worldly, etc. That's all I'm trying to say. Anything can become worldly depending upon my attitude, and anything can become spiritual depending upon my attitude. So worship is an attitude. Work as worship. Work may be about day-to-day activity. There is a beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita, I'm sure most of you are familiar with that. It is in the 18th chapter of the Gita, where Lord Krishna says, Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvayadam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavah. There are two lines of this verse. The first line describes Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? And second line describes how to relate to that Ishvara. How to relate to Ishvara and what is the reward of the way we relate to Ishvara. So first line says, Yatah pravrittihi bhutanam Yataha bhutanam pravrittihi. Yataha, one from whom? Pravrittihi, activity, or even utpatti, the creation. One who is the source of the creation of this universe. One who is impeller of all the activities. Yataha pravrittihi. Pravritti means activity. Wherever you see any activity anywhere, then the one is the impeller of that activity. Upanishad says, Bhishasmad vatah pavate Bhisho deti surya. I'm just for my own pleasure chanting, some of these passages from Upanishads or Gita, not to intimidate you. Just for my own pleasure, and then I will explain, of course, what I am saying. Oh, see, I can intimidate you by all kinds of quotations of Sanskrit. That's not the point. So, my own pleasure. Bhishasmad vatah pavate Bhisho deti suryaha. Upanishad says, by whose fear or by whose command the wind blows, the sun shines, the fire burns, by whose command everything, performs its assigned activity. It looks like every element in the nature is assigned to do something, is appointed to do something. The sun is assigned to do something, appointed to do something. And therefore, we find that even the sun, S-U-N, sun, very obediently rises in the morning at the appointed time and obediently sets in the evening at an appointed time. There is in India we used to have casual leave. Casual leave means you just remain absent one day. Sick leave, you are not well, so you are absent. Earned leave, different kinds of leaves are there. The sun has no leave. His alarm clock must be perfect because he rises at the appointed time. And he goes home at the appointed time. Someday we like to go home early. But then, even such powerful entity as sun also functions as an obedient servant, you can say. Vishas, the wind, also is a very powerful entity, also functions as an obedient servant. All the powerful forces of nature, they all function as obedient servants. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam, that from whom is the activity of all these aspects, all these elements of nature, including human beings. Whatever happens, happens because of whose command. So that's how Ishvara is, the one aspect of Ishvara, yatah pravrittir bhutanam, who is the impeller of all the activities. If you want to have Ishvara darshan, just look where any activity is going on. The wind is blowing, the sun is shining, the fire is burning, the breath is going up and down. Again Upanishad says, Urdhvam pranamunnayati apanam pratyagasyati madhyavamanamasīnam. I feel very impressed because you don't know these verses. Then the Upanishad says, Madhye Vamanam Asinam. One very adorable one resides here in the center, in the heart. He's always busy. Never for a moment he is idle. Urdhvam pranam unnayati, it pulls the prana up. Apanam pratyagasyati, pulls the apana down, breathing up and down. Madhye Vamanam Asinam, the adorable one resides in the center here in the heart. Vishve Deva Upasate, all the devatas are all the time adoring him. Who are the devatas? In the Upanishad of sense organs, they are called devatas. Eyes, ears, organs of perception are called devatas. All of them bring gift. The eyes bring the gift of beautiful colors and forms as a gift to that devata, to the one sitting in the heart. The ears bring the gift of sounds and words, etc. for him. All the organs of perception bring the gift of different perceptions. For whom? Because eyes do not see for themselves. Ears do not hear for themselves, is it not so? Ears are hearing for someone else. Eyes see for someone else. The speech is talking also to serve someone else. Thus, it's a way of saying that all the devatas, all the organs of perception, all the organs of action, they constantly bring gift. For whom? That adorable one is sitting in the heart. That's one way of describing. Various ways of describing Ishvara. Yatah pravrittir bhutana. The one from whom, who is the impeller of all the activities of all the beings. Yena sarvedam tam. One by whom all of this is pervaded. Meaning one who is present everywhere, at all the times, at all the places, under all the conditions, who is always there. That is the description of Ishvara. That description makes it very easy for us to relate to Ishvara. If Ishvara is sitting, what happened? It's all right, yeah. No, I'm all right. Because I'm the one that is doing it, so what can you do? No, I'm just moving it like forward and back. Don't worry, Rupa. It did not go back by itself.
Fix it later, Swami.
Yeah. Yena sarvedam tatam, one by whom everything is pervaded, who is present everywhere. For those who are studying Vedanta, you may have come across a discussion on the cause of this universe, the cause of creation. The universe is a creation. But there is a creator, it's an effect, therefore there must be a cause. Some of you must have heard these two kinds of, one cause is called the material cause. Other is called the intelligent cause or the efficient cause. Just as for creating an entity, such as a spot, you require clay, which is the material. You require a potter, pot maker, which is the intelligent entity, conscious entity, called efficient cause. Material cause and efficient cause. Similarly also, for the universe also is a creation, like a pot. There's a material cause and an efficient cause. Now, they always apply this model of creation to the creation of universe also. Therefore they imagine that there is Father sitting in heaven who is the intelligent cause who created this. And he took some matter from here and there and shaped. But Vedanta says, no, these causes are not different. So he is both the maker as well as the material. In case of a pot, the maker is different, called the pot maker. The material is different, that's the clay. Usually the maker and the material are different. But Vedanta says that both the maker as well as the material are one. How can that be, Swamiji? How can the maker and material be one? So Vedantins give example of our dream. In the dream, we create our own dream world. Very often I find myself talking like this in the dream, because that's all I do. So in dream also sometimes audience is sitting in front of me. Here there may be 50 people, there can be 500 people. And I may be talking like this. When I wake up, everybody also wakes up, isn't it? So when I wake up, you also wake up. Not that I wake up and then all the people are waiting there in the dream world and waiting for the Swami to again come back. No. When I wake up, when you wake up, your dream also is folded up in you. You are the creator of the dream, you are the sustainer of the dream, you are the dissolver of the dream, you are the creator, sustainer, dissolver, you are the efficient cause, you are the material cause. Because for giving this kind of a class in dream, we did not need any pamphlets, did not need to make any phone calls. No hall was required, no lunch was required, everything, was created by my mind. So I am the maker of the dream, I am the material of the dream. That is the model that Vedanta gives. It's an important model to understand. And the words that I just quoted from the Bhagavad Gita say, Yatah pravrittir bhutanam, one from whom is the activity of all the beings, who is the impeller of all the activities, who is the intelligent being, the conscious being, who is impeller of all the activities. Yena sarvavidam tatam, by whom everything is pervaded. Who pervades everything? Meaning pervades you and I, good and bad. What Vedanta teaches is that Ishvara is everywhere. Not that he is only in the good things and not in the evil things. He is not in the Satan and he is only in the... whether it is good, bad or evil, whatever it is, Ishvara is present. How can it be, Swamiji? How can Ishvara be present also in a thief? Ishvara can be present even in a murder. So these questions arise when Vedanta says that Ishvara is the self of all. How come, Swamiji, Bhagavan does not stop this thief from doing what he is doing? The shooting is taking place, if Bhagavan is present there, why does he not stop? So these things create questions in our mind when you talk about Ishvara. What kind of Bhagavan he is? What kind of world has he created? Why doesn't he stop what is happening? Why does he not set everything right? Now what is right? As I want it. But maybe you may want it differently. She may want it differently. Now what is right is a good question. Therefore, what is right? No, Swami, this cannot be. There cannot be a terrorist here and there cannot be this. But then all of these totally makes up the whole universe. When you have a universal or a global viewpoint, then you find that everything has a place. There's a big painting which you see a tiger attacking a deer, Tiger, if you look only at the tiger, there is nothing but violence. Look at the deer, there is nothing but fear, Look at the whole picture, then you find that everything has its own place. So also look at the whole universe, that everything has its own place. And therefore, but Swamiji, when Bhagavan made this world, why did he create death? Would it be nice if there is no death, is it not so? There is only birth and no death, then what will happen to this earth? It will be overflowing with population. So, what is in order. Birth also is in order, death also is in order, everything is in order. If we evaluate it from our own particular standpoint and our likes and dislikes, and things may not appear all right. If we drop our likes and dislikes and become objective and appreciate things as they are, then we find that everything has its place. What is evil also has its place, and what is good also has its place. Yena sarvidam tadam, Ishvara is the one by whom everything is pervaded, who is present everywhere. Now this may be difficult to understand. Therefore, let me introduce one more serious concept of Vedanta. That Swamiji, you say that Bhagavan is everywhere, then the person who is killed is also Bhagavan, who is killing also is Bhagavan. How can that be? The killer also, Bhagavan is there, killed also is Bhagavan. How is it possible? Is it possible? It's possible only if it's a play. In the play, a person can take the role of a killer. In the play, a person can take the role of a killed, and that is all right. Similarly also, the universe would have been all right if this was all a play. And therefore, we come to the Vedantic concept of what is called mithya. Mithya means things are not exactly as they look. You have to have a probe further into it. Mithya means what is not just what it looks like. There is something more, something beyond that also. So the universe is not just what it looks on the surface. That behind the surface there is this principle called Ishvara, the divinity, the fullness, the wholeness. And that alone manifests in all these different ways. As pleasure and pain, as honor and dishonor, as success and failure, as heat and cold. What we call all pairs of opposites, all mutually exclusive. In all of them, this is all the manifestation of one Ishvara. When can it be? When he transcends both of them. Thus Vedanta teaches that Ishvara is transcendental and this universe is immanent, is a manifestation of Ishvara. So Bhagavan manifests as this universe. You can say that he has assumed all these countless costumes and is, manifesting as all the living beings, all the living and non-living, sentient, insentient, whatever there is nothing but the manifestation of Ishvara. All of this is a costume that Ishvara has put on, and this is one who is simultaneously taking multiple roles, countless roles. In the movies we have actors who take one role, double role, triple role, but this is Ishvara who has taken infinite, countless roles. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam, one from whom is all the creation of the universe, activity of the universe, who is present everywhere, who has taken all these various roles simultaneously. He has taken the role of a thief also, taken the role of a murderer also, as victim also, as villain also, as everything. Why is it so? Because they're all roles. Of course, unfortunately, this argument will not work in the court of law, understand that. No, but our Swami said this is all drama. You can't go and say this to the judge because he won't accept it. But for our understanding, you know why? Why do we need that understanding? So we have a certain attitude. We react to things. We react to things that we think are not in keeping with our expectation. We reject them. We have an impulse, so attachment and aversion for those things, attachment for something, aversion for something, and this is how we relate to everything. But when you realize that what is the Ishvara alone, what I am attached to also Ishvara in that form, and I have aversion for something that also Ishvara in that form, that attachment, aversions are for the costume, for the roles, but the one playing the roles, he is beyond both the attachment and aversion. You follow what I am saying? When you take only the costumes as the ultimate reality, the roles as the ultimate reality, then we are going to have these likes and dislikes, attachment and aversions, we are going to have. Unfortunately, our life is based on that. We give reality to this costume and to that costume also. And therefore, naturally, something is favorable to this costume, something unfavorable to this costume, and therefore there are certain that I like, others that I dislike. And thus my life is based on fulfilling these likes and dislikes. We never go beyond that. So Vedanta teaches. Yena sarvedam tatam, all of this is pervaded by Ishvara. You are only relating to the costumes and roles. And that is when that happens, there are going to be likes and dislikes, attachment and aversion, definitely going to be. But suppose we relate to the one who's putting on, wearing the costume. Costume is all right. Oh, this is a villain. No, this is my favorite actor. This is not villain, this is Amitabh Bachchan. Then my whole attitude changes, Suppose we recognize that in all of these, this is my favorite one. You know who is most favorite of me? Who is my most favorite? Myself. Fortunately, Vedanta says that Ishvara is none other than yourself. So my favorite is everywhere. That my most favorite one has assumed all this variety of costumes, and so effectively that I take the costumes to be real. The whole play is taken to be real, and I keep on reacting to all the external things or to the superficial things, and that superficial is so effective that I never go beyond to even think of whether there is something beyond the superficial thing. There is something beyond, that these are just roles, just a costume. There is something more than that. There is not just an ant, that ant is in a costume, then there is something more than that. Not just a van, a woman, they're all costumes. There is something beyond that. Yena sarvamidam tatam, the one by whom all of this is pervaded, meaning that one who is assuming all the various costumes. When you understand Ishvara as well as possible, then the way we relate to that also becomes more meaningful. The reason why Ishvara is being discussed is to make our relationship more meaningful. More meaningful it is, more fulfilling it is. So life doesn't have to change in other ways. You live the life the way you want to live. When this attitude changes in this manner, so worship is an attitude rather than a particular act. Because I can be a professional priest, and I perform priestly acts as a profession. $500 here, $350. Nothing wrong in that. But what I'm saying is that simply action does not mean that it is a religious action. I can sing bhajans, etc. also, and it's a contract. Not that all who sing bhajans are not religious. I have no intention of saying that. What I am saying is what matters is the attitude with which we do things rather than the form of what we do. Yes, form also is important and form also is helpful. But worship is an attitude more than the form. Form helps, but the attitude is more important than just the form. Meaning that any form of action can also become the worship if there is an attitude. And Gita teaches that any action can also become act of worship. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha tamabhyarcha, worshipping him, adoring him with one's own action. Siddhim vindati mana, human being attains siddhi, perfection. You attain perfection, siddhi, by just this simple act of worship. That perfection comes in two stages. In Vedanta, you must have heard the expression Antahakarana Shuddhi, means purification of mind. They keep on saying that again and again. Antahakarana Shuddhi or purification of mind. That is purification. What is purification of mind? Making the mind free from impurities. What is an impurity? An impurity is that makes me unhappy. So anger is an impurity because when my mind gets angry, I am unhappy. Either I am unhappy, therefore I am angry, or I am angry, therefore unhappy, both ways. Anger makes me unhappy. Jealousy makes me unhappy. Greed makes me unhappy. These reactions, as we call them, or impulses, they are expression of unhappiness and they make me unhappy also. So therefore Vedanta calls them impurities. Impurity is that which when arises in my mind makes me unhappy. So anger arises, makes me unhappy. Greed arises, makes me unhappy. Jealousy arises, makes me unhappy. Aversion arises, makes me unhappy. Antakarana Shuddhi, purification of mind, is making the mind free from these impurities which make me unhappy. Otherwise we don't mind. What is important to us? Happiness is important to us. And therefore, we want to become free from whatever makes us unhappy. And they are called impurities, like raga, dvesha, like kama, krodha, like anger, lust, greed, etc. Siddhim vindati manavaha. The first accomplishment in life is the purification of mind. What do you think happens when the mind becomes pure? So how do I know that I am making progress? How do I know that my mind is becoming pure? Simple test. That you feel more and more comfortable with yourself. You feel more and more satisfied with yourself. You feel more and more happy with yourself. Very strange, isn't it? That when I become happy with myself, then I made progress. What's the reason why I'm not happy with myself? It is very strange to understand that, who is it that I'm most unhappy with? Who is it that makes me most unhappy, Myself. Although I may feel that my neighbor is like that, my in-law is like that, my so-and-so is like that, which means they may be, no doubt about that. They pour salt in the wound. The wound is here. What's the wound? I am unhappy with myself. Then the world pours salt on that. By saying you're stupid, you're no good, you're this. So by branding me in this way, they make me unhappier. But the seed of unhappiness is within myself. If that is not there, regardless of what you tell me. Swami, you are stupid. Thank you. I don't mind being stupid. Suppose I don't mind being stupid, then you can't make me unhappy. You're an idiot. All right. If my happiness comes from my being something, then it's all right. If my happiness comes from because I am, suppose. That's a very high concept, but I'm saying you are happy because you are. Not because you're a man or a woman, or tall or short, or dark or fair, or this or that. You are happy because you are. Can you imagine that? That's what Vedanta teaches. Atmaneva, that is called the ultimate in spiritual progress or siddhi, the perfection, is that more purity of the mind you get, happier you become with yourself. More comfortable you become with yourself. Very simple thing. And that's enough for us. For being happy, we don't need anything other than ourselves. And for being unhappy also, we do not need anything other than ourselves. We are enough to make ourselves happy, enough to make ourselves unhappy. That's our mind. And therefore, so this attitude transforms the mind. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Adoring, worshipping the Lord with my karma, I attain siddhi, perfection, meaning that inner happiness, inner satisfaction, which ultimately culminates into inner perfection. First stage is with karma, you get inner satisfaction. Second stage is with knowledge, you get inner perfection. Inner satisfaction, inner perfection. So this is the worship of Ishvara. So work as worship. Then how to make our work as a worship? Well, you can do special things to make it a worship, but what we do in our day-to-day activity also can become worship of Ishvara. Sakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. Adoring him, worshipping him with one's own action. Then your special action, that is chalta hai, that is okay. We need not pay attention to that. But he is an organizer, so he pays attention. He is concerned. But after all, this is a big community center, I guess. It's used for various activities.
I can see all the action happening.
All the action you can see from there. Yeah. Yes. From where you are sitting. Yeah, right. Yeah. So you have twofold joy. You are watching the action here and you are watching action there also. So then the next question is how to make our work as worship. So this is where the idea of work as duty comes in. The concept of duty as taught in Vedanta or as taught in Bhagavad Gita, sometimes also called obligatory duty. What is obligatory duty? That which I do in return for the obligation that I have is returning the favor. If I recognize what favor is being done to me, what favor has been done to me in the past, what favor is being done to me in the present also, how I am what I am because of all the favors that I am receiving, it's easy for a Swami to see. Everything is because of favor. For a Swami who doesn't do anything, everything is done for him. Therefore, to see that everything is favor, everything is arranged, everything is organized, and they also, the food also, they always make sure what does Swami like? What does he like in breakfast? What does he like in lunch? What does he like in dinner? What does he like this? For me, it is very easy to see how everything is nothing but provided to me. It's all favor done to me. But for everyone also, there is nothing but favor that is constantly, given to us. The Upanishad describes that this universe has the spirit of being favoring and being favored. I'm sure you must have heard this from me in the past. Upakaraka, upakarya, upakaraka. Upakarya, one who is favored. Upakaraka, one who favors. Ishvara has created the universe wherein the spirit of the upakarya, upakaraka, the favor and favoring is already built in. Everything in the universe favors the rest of the universe, and everything in turn is favored by the universe. The Vedic way of describing is a very traditional way. Yam Prasavi, this earth is the madhu, is the essence. The madhu means the honey, the karma phala. Sarvani, bhutani, all the beings is madhu, the karma phala of all the beings. All the beings are the karma phala of the Prasavi. Now this may be a little difficult to, but this earth, for example, see, all this teaching is based on the nature in which we are living. So they say this earth is a result of the combined result of the action that we all have performed. The earth is a great favor to us. The earth supports us. Earth gives us food, nurtures us, nourishes us. Earth is a great gift given to us. And that gift is given to us on account of what we have done also. So we perform the karma and therefore the earth is there. And earth also performs karma because therefore we are supported. You see the mutual upakarya upakaraka sambandha. But Swami, what have we done for this earth? That may be, that earth is karma phala. That we all performed some good actions in the past and continue to perform today also. Because of it there is a favor called earth, or the water, or the fire, or all the nature. All of this is there as a result of some good thing that we must have done. So we have created this, that is favoring us. So this rich relationship, mutual favor and favoring, is obtaining in the universe. So that is how Vedas, draw our attention. So look at the universe. And think of all the favor that you are receiving constantly. Now I am able to talk. When does it happen? When my organ of speech is functioning. When would that happen? When there is a devata called the Agni or the fire that favors my organ of speech, then the speech functions. Now this may be superstitious to you. What Bhagavan Swami? Where is devata? But then organ of speech is supposed to be presided over by the deity of fire. Organ of listening presided over by the deity of the quarters. Organ of eyes presided over by the deity called sun. My lay feet presided over by the deity called Vishnu. My arms presided over by the deity called Indra. Whether we believe this or not, but the point is that there is an interdependent relationship between the individual and the total. The total universe is constantly favoring me, because of which I am what I am. This is given. Whether we do something or not, we always receive the favor of sun. As you and sun, then we can see. Favor of the air, then only we can breathe and survive. Favor of water, favor of all the elements, then only we can live our life. That we are what we are is the result of the favor that we are receiving from the rest of the universe. Everything in the universe, even a remote thing also, we do not know how it favors us. Some of these things are very clear to us, that the trees give rise to oxygen, we give rise to carbon dioxide, there is this symbiotic relationship. Sometimes some of those things are very clear to us. But one scientist said, everything that crawls on this earth has some contribution to our life. No, that may not be evident to us. It may be a very long relationship, that this thing does something to that, and 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 ultimately, anything that crawls on the earth also contributes something to our life. The whole universe as though is so created as to contribute something to our life. In recognition of this, Vedas want us to recognize this symbiotic relation, this relationship between us and the universe, and live a life in recognition of that. So what should be my life? My life also should be of the nature of favoring the rest of the universe, returning the favor. So that is how Vedas look upon the life of human being as a life of returning the favor. This thing doesn't have to be taught to anybody else, because the rest of the universe is functioning in harmony. Every element of nature automatically is in harmony with the rest of the nature. Then what they do contributes, everybody is a contributor, everybody is a receiver of the contribution. So we don't need this upadesha to be given to any animals, to insects, to plants, to trees, to nature, because they are so designed, they are so programmed to live a life of harmony, of contributing and receiving the contribution. Then why does human being need to be told? We need to be told. You know why? Because we have free will. Nothing else is a free will. Everything else is programmed, and programmed such that everything favors and receives the favor. Therefore, if human being is not there on this earth, there will be heaven. I think before the human being came, he is the last one to come. There must have been heaven. And some glimpses of the heaven we had in the COVID time, isn't it? Poor human being was locked up. There was a lockdown. He could, and then so many birds and animals found freedom to come out. The rivers were flowing. They were all free from all the pollution. The air was free from pollution. The water was free from pollution. Nature breathed the breath of fresh air. Right now it is again suffocating. But then, so that's how, if we are not there, everything would be in order. Although our Swami likes everything is in order, I think that other than human being, everything is in order. The human being alone is able to create disorder. Wherever there is disorder in the universe, understand it is the creation of human being. Wherever there is any pain and suffering, sometimes people ask this question, Swamiji, why did Bhagavan create this world? Why is there so much suffering? Why is there hunger? Why is there starvation? Why is there suffering? The main mistake that Bhagavan made was to give us free will. Is it a mistake? It is a favor done to us. But any favor can be abused. So free will means freedom, choice of doing, deciding what to do and what not to do. But the freedom of choice can also be abused, and very often, unfortunately, human being abuses that freedom. So wherever we find any suffering, wherever, it can be traced to some misconduct on the part of human being, somewhere. In Ethiopia, Swami, there is hunger, there is starvation, but can be traced to somewhere, some abuse of free will on the part of human being in some other part of the world. By doing what we are doing, we are contributing. By not doing what we should be doing, also we contribute. So hunger in Ethiopia also, if there is, in some way we are also contributors. Meaning that it is human being alone who creates unhappiness, misery, sadness in the world. Otherwise, the world would have been just happy. Poor animals would be free, trees would be free, plants would be free, birds would be free, everyone would be free. Anyway, not to make you feel sad, but unfortunately that's what it is. So that is where the concept of worship comes. Why do we abuse this free will? Because of our selfishness. Why are we selfish, Swamiji? Because of ignorance. So Vedanta comes back to that. When you talk of Vedanta, you talk of ignorance. So that's a very difficult concept, this ignorance. Imagine that, let us start with what Vedanta teaches us. To understand what ignorance is, let us start with what Vedanta teaches us. You know what Vedanta says to us? What does Vedanta teach? Tattvamasi. What does it teach? That thou art. That you are what? You are Brahman. You are limitless. You are whole. You are complete. You includes everybody, including this. You are whole and complete. No, Swami, where is this whole? This stuff is not whole. It's not complete. My body is not complete. My mind is not complete. But I am complete. I am not the body. I am not the mind. The body is given to me as a dwelling place. Mind is given to me to think and to feel. And the sense organs given to interact with the world. And such a beautiful setup is given to us. You can use that setup and enjoy your life, or you can abuse that setup also and create misery for yourself. So Ishvara has given us whatever is required. It's for us to use our wisdom and use it properly. But therefore, human being, unfortunately, there is something called ignorance. If that was not there, how nice things would have been. Swami, how do you say there is ignorance in our life? Because I am not happy with myself. You may not have thought about this, but then if you look at it, or you spend some time with yourself and ask, what is it that I am most unhappy with? You'll find that you are most unhappy with your own self. No, Swami, my spouse is like that, my neighbor is like that, my progeny is like that, my boss is like that. They may be all, no doubt about that. I am sure they are what they are, but they could not still make me unhappy if I did not contribute. To become unhappy, we need to contribute. Otherwise, there is this Nowadays, of course, those things are, all those cameras and films are gone, so people don't even understand. This generation may not understand what is the role of film with the digital things. But there used to be a roll of film in the olden days. A camera was there was a roll of film, and then you expose, and the outside scenery creates the impression on that film, and then we develop and we have a picture. But suppose you fill a piece of paper in that, instead of that, any number of times you open, nothing happens. Meaning that for the picture to take place in that film, there is cooperation of two things. One is there is outside scenery, other is the film itself, the chemical coating which is on the film. If that is not there, instead of that chemical coated film, just plain paper, nothing would happen. You know what I'm saying is, for the impression to take place, there is the cooperation of the two. The outside scenery can create an impression only when the film cooperates. Similarly also, the outside world can create something else only when we cooperate. Although we can complain, Swami, these days world is like this, life is like that, family is like that, it's all that. But still all of them may not be successful making us unhappy if we did not cooperate. And that is where we can do something. We cannot change the world. It's not necessary that I have to change the whole world to become happy. All that is necessary is I have to just change myself. Once that king said that, hey, come on. He told his minister, I want to go for a walk. You please cover all the earth, all the roads with leather so that I won't be hurt. Minister says, sir, all that you need is you cover your feet with leather. Similarly, earth, the world being what it is, all I need to do is to do something with myself. Stop cooperating with the world to make me unhappy. So let us understand that. We traditionally blame the world for making us unhappy. So my life is very difficult. I don't say it is not difficult. That's why I become a Swami, that's not just to escape. It's a great escape. So you don't know, I'm sure I don't know. But still, even where you are, don't think that Swami is not involved in life. I mean, you think that you have 2 children or something, and then whatever it is. So I don't know how many children Swami has and how many. But the point is, it is possible to do some transform by transforming ourselves. That is a saving grace. That let the world be what it is. Give the world the freedom, and what we need to do is to transform us. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. This verse says that by adoring, by worshipping the Lord with one's own action, with one's own karma, that you can transform yourself. Such that you become now immune to any kind of effect, negative effect. You can become immune to any unhappiness, that you can abide in your own happiness. You need not have to change the world, just change yourself. It is possible, and that is enough that I transform myself in order to be happy and make others also happy. Only a happy person can make others happy. Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. Manava, a human being, can attain siddhi, perfection, by swakarmana, by one's own karma. Tamabhyarcha, adoring him, worshipping him. So the worship is a very important contribution in our life. Worship has an important contribution because it enables us to transform ourselves. To transform ourselves into happy persons. free persons. And one happy person is a great gift to the world because he makes others also happy. At least he doesn't make others miserable. But contributes to happiness. That's what we all are and all we can further become. So that is how work as worship. When work is performed in the spirit of worship, swakarmatam abhyarcha. Abhyarcha means adoring him, worshipping him with one's own karma. One can attain the siddhi or the perfection in the form of self-transformation. That you become immune to any kind of negativities. Then you find that there are no negativities. It changes our perception. The way we look at ourselves, the way we look at the world itself changes. Understand that if there is a problem in our life, it is nothing else but the perception. If I am the problem to myself, it is my perception of myself that becomes the problem, not I. As Vedanta teaches, I am Brahman, I am limitless, I am complete, I am whole, I am happiness. I cannot be a problem to myself. Vedanta teaches what is this Brahman, what is this whole, and therefore nothing can be a problem to me if I really saw things as they are. So nothing as it is makes me a problem, creates problem. The way I perceive, that alone creates a problem. So I don't have to change anything other than changing my perception. My perception of myself and my perception of others. That's a great saving grace. That I need not create another third eye or something, here, whatever. That kind of transformation may not be necessary. What is necessary is the change of my perception. Seeing things as they are, not seeing things the way I am seeing. I don't see things as they are. I always look at the world through my glasses. What glasses? Glasses of raga and dvesha, attachment and aversion. Then I superimpose. This is called the jiva srishti, or the creation of the individual. So Vedanta says that there are two kinds of creations, Ishvara srishti and jiva srishti. Ishvara has created the world and jiva is created. As Ishvara has created, all there is happiness. Like we saw during the COVID time, when the human effect was minimized, then you could see how the world was. That is Ishvara's creation. No sooner the human being became active and participating, then everything again was converted, back to normal or back to abnormal. And therefore, no change is required other than change of perception. My own perception of myself is a problem. We talked of ignorance. That there is ignorance in our life. How do we say that? Because Upanishad says, who am I? Tattvamasi, you are Brahman, you are limitless. At least the word limitless we understand. Free from all limitations. Free from all, and limitation creates unhappiness. Free from all unhappiness, free from all sadness, free from all anxieties, free from all worries, free. That is our nature. If that is so, why should there be unhappiness in life? That is because I don't see myself that way. Meaning that I do not see myself as I truly am. What I am is a complete being, a whole and complete being. I see myself as an incomplete being. And therefore, that perception of myself, that I'm incomplete, I'm lacking, I'm wanting, that's what makes me unhappy. Not that the reason for unhappiness, but seeing myself as lacking, wanting, that is what makes me unhappy. Meaning that my perception of myself is what makes me unhappy. Why is it? Because if I perceived as I am, then I am a wonderful being, I am a complete being, I am exactly what I want to be, I am exactly what I want to see. That's what I am. And therefore what is necessary to change is perception, nothing else. Meaning that no change need to take place in my nose and ears, etc., etc. All that is necessary is in my perception of myself. And when that changes, my perception about the world also will change. Siddhim vindati manava. In this manner, human being attains perfection. Swakarmana, by worshipping Ishvara with one's own karma. So with this background, we'll take a break and come back here at 11:30. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate